Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and excuse me. Yeah. You know what, actually, I'm just going to move you across there because you're on my third monitor. There we go. That's better because now when I look at you, it looks like I'm looking at you on the screen. Mr. Kir Off.
Two monitors, fancy, sir, fancy.
Well, one's on a crazy arm on the wall. Anyway, we're going to talk about Call of Duty because, Mr. Kir Off, I'm going to take my glasses off as well because this is getting all super serious. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. That's right, Advanced Warfare has just been, well, not just been announced. Well, has just been announced about, what, 5, 6, 7 hours ago? I don't know. Maybe it was 10 hours ago. I don't know, Mr. Kir Off. I don't know. It matters not. What matters is, could this be the Call of Duty, Mr. Kir Off, which has the answers, Mr. Kir Off? Could it be? And do we need a Call of Duty that has the answers? This is also the question, Mr. Kir Off. So what do we know so far? What do we know so far, boy?
Oh, God. Well, actually, they're good things. They're actually good things. It's got Kevin Spacey in it to start. Old Frank Underwood from House of Cards. He's there, which automatically makes it better than any other Call of Duty ever made. So that's a good start. Not overselling it or anything, but it looks like it's got like mech suits and wall running, and crazy gloves that let you climb up walls, and like implants for your legs so you can like jump higher.
Well, it's funny you should mention all this, Mr. Kir Off, because I have a
sounds very familiar.
Well, it does sound familiar. This was a certain game that came out quite recently from a company called Respawn. Anyway, we'll get on to that. I've got a fancy new layout for HOTFIX. Well, not a new layout, but like a new, well, if you want to get technical, a new scene for HOTFIX, which is I have named it HOTFIX Small Cam, but it does this. It does that. It absolutely does that, which is beautiful. Also, you've probably seen like some sort of shit in my little box there, but that's just, don't worry about that. That's just my Chrome tabs. They won't hurt you. In fact, you will like them. So, what we've got here is I've got Destructoid open, and I've got the Call of Duty screenshots open. Well, from the trailer, because of course we get loads of copyright problems if we start playing trailers on fucking videos, and we don't want that, do we, Mr. Kir Off? No.
Nope.
So this is the logo, Mr. Kir Off, which is great. I'm sure you'll agree. Anyway, moving on. If it loads. So we've got a guy with what appears to be some sort of exoskeleton thing on him.
It looks like one of them suits from Elysium.
Yeah, it does. It does. It does.
It really does.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I thought. I was like, oh, they've got one of the Elysium suits.
That was a shit film.
It was, but the idea of the suit, I quite like the idea of the suit.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a shame that the film that did not support the suit as well. It supported the guy. See that? But I mean, that's like, I like the look of that because that looks interesting. That's the only way I can describe it. It looks interesting because it doesn't look like a fucking guy with the American flag on his arm with a dog. It looks different. It is not like, I would not associate that.
Do you have something against the dogs in Ghosts, whatever it's called? They were amazing, bloke, amazing. They were terrible.
They were
absolutely terrible. So, like this looks like some sort of exosuit thing. Now, obviously, like we said earlier, there's obviously comparisons to things like Titanfall. You get a mech in Titanfall. You actually get a mech in this, and I don't think it's in these screenshots, but we may get to it. But the whole idea of this is like advanced warfare. It's kind of futuristic, but not crazy. I mean, what time frame is this even set in? Is this set before Black Ops 2? Because that was in the future, and that had crazy futuristic stuff. Is it after?
You know what?
I don't even know.
I mean, I'm going to make an assumption here that it's after, because it's like there's like mechs and there's a hoverbike bloke. There's hoverbikes. We'll get to that.
Okay, so I mean, the next screenshot. Surely. Hang on, so we're doing screenshot analysis. Is of a guy with a gun. Would you believe it? Well, it's just a bloke in a helicopter, I think, with like he's got pistols. He's got Atlas on his chest, because I do believe the whole storyline is something to do with private military companies. Frank Underwood runs one, and he wants to take over the government. Great. So we go to the next screenshot, which
House
is
of Cards Series 3.
Okay, yeah, it's a guy who's jumping like a cabbage. He's jumping very high on the Golden Gate Bridge, I do believe. Now,
yep, that looks.
This is kind of one of the things which, and there's a catalogue of things. In fact, you know what, we'll go through the screenshots first, and we'll kind of come back to them and speak about them in like a more coherent way. So the next screenshot is of, I don't know what the hell that's of, some sort of like electronic interference or something.
I believe that's a rave.
Somebody on LSD.
Is that like like all those lasers up there? Is that like mapping the area, like those crazy things from Prometheus?
Probably some sort of crazed
Close.
drone garbage. Great, awesome.
Yeah.
Now this is another one with a guy running up a wall. But we'll get back to this as well momentarily. Next one, I can see when Kiri changes the pitch because his face flashes white on the camera. This is Frank Underwood. Although he's probably not called Frank Underwood, but he basically is Frank Underwood because...
I would piss myself if he was called Frank Underwood.
He
I
should
mean,
be
they
called
probably
Frank
wouldn't be
Underwood.
allowed to.
He doesn't have the
If
same
they say-
accent, but yeah. We'll call him something different like Terry
if they call him,
Overhill.
Call him Hank Over Forest.
So bad. Okay, the next screenshot we've got is of like a guy with a massive gun because it's Call of Duty and crazy computer shit. Well, that just looks like he's put his smartphone on his arm and he's got a silencer. He's also got some sort of plate on his leg. I don't know what that's about. And he's looking at like a crazy helicopter thing.
Which, the crazy helicopter thing, I mean, I keep drawing comparisons to other games and films here, but that is basically the out of Avatar, ain't it? It's that
yeah. Or we go further
that
back.
flyer.
It's the Orca helicopter thing out of Command and Conquer. Fucking scumbag.
Yes.
Yeah. So next screenshot is of a crazy futuristic tank and two blokes looking at the tank, and they're like, "Yeah."
Now, see, now to me that is like, I'm just going to say it like that. That to me is like overly futuristic. I don't see why tanks need to look like that. But the thing is, you're never going to get an explanation as to why it's got like gaps in the armor and what just what is going on there. You're never going to get an explanation, and that's one of the few things in games, especially like futuristic games, where it's like, yeah, the tanks have got this crazy like plating on it. It's like, why? Explain it to me, but they never do.
Maybe it's got shields, bloke.
Right, yeah.
Anyway,
it's a cloaking tank.
Next screenshot is the Call of Duty logo. So what we're going to do is I'm going to run through these screenshots, and I'm going to run to the first one of the guy jumping on the bridge. And I want you to remember about the guy running up the wall as well. So the guy jumping on the bridge. Okay. Now this could be right. Let's fucking talk about Call of Duty. So I am not the biggest fan of Call of Duty. Okay, but I do enjoy the stupid single player campaigns. They're stupid, right? But if you look at Black Ops, I think it's Black Ops 2, the one where you've got the jet. I think it's Black Ops 2. Yeah, you fly a jet around one of the cities. Okay, you've got like the crazy control panel thing for the big Walker attack drone thing. Looks like a Mammoth Tank Mark II from Command and Conquer, right? Yeah. These are classed as like features in the game. It's like, yes, you will be able to fly a jet. You will fly a helicopter. You do this. You do that. It's like, oh yeah. I think you also ride a horse. Or was that Black Ops? I think that was Black Ops. Anyway, right? You're like, holy shit, what's all this stuff? But you only actually get to play it for like 5 minutes in the single player campaign. And because it's Call of Duty, the single player campaign lasts about 2 hours. And then that's it. And then it's just into the same old multiplayer crap. But when I look at things like the guy jumping, okay, that is like a super jump. In a multiplayer scenario, that would be like, oh, here's a new mechanic. You can jump like fucking Batman. Can Batman jump that high? No, he can't, can he? It's not Batman, is it? Who could do that? You can jump like some sort of
Superman could jump pretty high.
Yeah, he could fly. Yeah, whatever. You could jump like a frog, a toad. I don't. So, whatever.
You can jump pretty high. Is basically what we're getting at here.
Now I'm going to go to another screenshot, Mr. Kir Off, of the guy climbing up the wall, because this is also the other interesting thing. Now, in the trailer, when it runs, he like looks at his hands, so that says to me this is a set piece thing. Why would you look at your hands? You know, like you wouldn't go, oh, my hands, yes, and then run up a wall. But it does in the trailer, so it's like, is this just going to be in the single player? Let's hope not. Anyway, the guy runs up the wall with these crazy gloves on his hand. Like I guess they dig into the wall and he climbs up the wall. So what I'm seeing from this is, you can jump really high. You can run up walls. Okay, that's very similar to Titanfall.
Yeah,
and I like Titanfall's multiplayer, but I'm going to say this as well. This might be shocking, Mr. Kir Off. I think Titanfall's multiplayer would actually be pretty good if it had all of the Call of Duty customization in it.
No, I would agree with that. I would wholeheartedly agree with that, because one of the things that really bugs me about Titanfall is, did you ever play the first Assassin's Creed?
No, I did, yeah. Not
I get the same vibe, right? For me, I love the first Assassin's Creed. However, the whole thing felt like a proof of concept.
Yeah,
it was like, we've had this idea for a game. you like this idea for a game? And everyone went, yeah, we like this idea for a game. Assassin's Creed 2 felt like the game that Assassin's Creed was meant to be. Titanfall, to me, feels like that. It's like, yeah, you've got like customization for your loadouts, but why aren't there like skins for your guns? Why can't you customize the way your character looks? Why is there not more? Well, why aren't there more loadout options? Why don't you get more unlocks in terms of how things look? Why can't you decorate your mech? Why can't you? I don't know, build
Well,
your
actually,
own mech.
mechs.
All that
Sorry,
kind of
I'll
thing.
stop
It's
you
like,
there. Mechs are in this as well. In what capacity, I don't know, but they're not like Titanfall mechs. They're like, yeah, it's kind of like a guy. It looks like a guy inside a suit, but a big bulky suit. It looks fairly
Yeah.
good. It's like got a minigun attached to it and whatever. So yeah, again, there's another comparison. But carry on, Mr. Kir Off. I just had to jump in
but
there.
yeah,
A bit of info.
I'd agree, because one of the things with Call of Duty is whether you like the multiplayer or not, you have to admit that in terms of customization, you can do a hell of a lot. Like, it can do a lot to you.
It has to be doing.
Your loadout.
It's got to be doing something right, hasn't it, to keep people, people playing the game for so long.
Yeah.
I know everybody's like, oh god, it's Call of Duty, blah blah blah. I looked on Reddit, and Reddit's not a very good place to go for this type of stuff because it's all like, oh, we're all elitist, we don't play this, it's blah blah blah. People bashing the game like into oblivion, and it's like, yeah, I've bashed Call of Duty, you've bashed Call of Duty, Mr. Kir Off, a lot of people have, and it's just a niche product for a very big niche audience, basically. And like I said, it's kind of like it's almost like one of those things I'm ashamed to say. Like I can't enjoy this single player, even though it's so absolutely terrible on every level. It's like it's sort of like that feeling when you go to Netflix and you load up the film Attila, or whatever the fuck it's called, when he comes back from the past to kill people in the future with his spear. It's like, what is this? It's the worst film ever. But you'll sit there and watch it, and when you think of it that way, it's like, yeah, I've got Call of Duty Ghosts, all right? I've got Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Have I played the multiplayer? I think I played a few rounds of Ghost, and then I just left. I was like, no, I don't want this. Go away. It's the same as Call of Duty was when Modern Warfare came out, which was 2007, and I played that for enough, and I've evolved, Mr. Kir Off, like an advanced life form would. But I look at this, and apparently it's from who's it from? It's from Sledgehammer. Is this their first Call of Duty game?
Yeah, I think they've worked on. I think they worked on Modern Warfare 3. I think they did the campaign for Modern Warfare 3, from what I've been reading. But this is their first solo Call of Duty. It was. They've worked on Call of Duty before, but it was like split between different studios, so different developers did different parts of the game. This is the first time they've tackled the whole thing by themselves.
And is this the first one that's on a 3-year development cycle?
Yeah, people are thinking that it's been developed for 3 years instead of the usual 2. So it doesn't seem like that much of a difference, but when you look at like Ghosts and Black Ops 2, it's like 2 years is not a long time to develop games that are that big, and so there's a lot of reusing of assets, and there's a lot of
there's the famous videos, isn't there, on YouTube where people show. In fact, it was Modern Warfare, wasn't it? I think Black Ops, it might have even been Black Ops 2, had actual buildings copied out of Modern Warfare, and that's like. The game's 7 years old, it's like, but that just shows you how like kind of desperate they were getting. But I think a year extra is going to make the game, or any game, better, because it gives them more chance to, weed out the issues. I mean, when Ghost launched, it was a fucking terrible mess on the PC. It didn't even work. I remember when I tried to stream it, and it was like, graphically, it wasn't very good, but it was running at like fucking 15 frames a second. I'm like, what is going on? Eventually, they fixed it, but they fixed it to some degree. But yeah, that was a bad launch. Like, let's look at what we've got then. So we think there's mech suits. There could possibly be wall running, okay? We know there's going to be wall climbing in some capacity. There's crazy jumping legs, as you put it here in this document, Mr. Kir. There's drones, but there's been drones for like the last 2 pissing Call of Duty games. Now there's hoverbikes. Now this is kind of interesting, because what it shows you in the game looks like, the ships, the Nebuchadnezzar from fucking The Matrix. They've got them plates on the side of them. It looks like that. It looks like they've looked at that and gone, you know what, let's turn this into a bike. And it looks pretty good. But again, what is this going to be like the jet section from bloody Black Ops 2, where you get in it and it's fucking irritating? It lasts for about 5 minutes, and that's it. You don't even see it again. Because I tell you now, if Call of Duty had fucking multiplayer that had vehicles in it, right, and played like Titanfall, I would play that. I would play it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that the biggest concern for me is I watched the trailer and was like, hey, I'm actually interested in this. This is a Call of Duty, and I'm interested. But I'm interested in like the crazy mech suit with the minigun on the arm and the ability to jump really high and basically the elements that make Titanfall as good as it is what is attracting me to the Call of Duty trailer. But Call of Duty are very good. The games are very good at having these set pieces in the campaign that in no way translate to the multiplayer.
Yeah,
like they're just
no way.
nothing to do with it at all. It's all this crazy stuff of look at all these amazing things you can do, and then you do the 2-hour campaign, and then you never see it again, and it's like, well, great.
Have we just seen the campaign? Have we just seen the campaign in the trailer? It's like that. It's that all of the set pieces they've just blasted us with like in a minute. It's like, whoa, God, it's amazing.
That's the worry. It's like there were gadgets and stuff in like Black Ops 2 and Ghosts and things, but they were like massively watered down compared to the stuff that happened in the campaign. And the problem is that the reason I don't play Call of Duty is because I used to play Call of Duty, and I consider to have I've played it enough.
You were 20 years old when you played it, bloke. You are now 27,
God,
and it is the same game.
It's exactly the same. It's like, why would I continue to play the same? I mean, some people will do
They need to evolve.
They will play the same game.
Well, they do, don't they? They do. The problem is, hang on, let's stop there. The problem with me and you with that argument is we play a lot of different games because of what we do, and it's really hard for us to be like impartial and go, oh yeah, people just play one game, because we're like, one game? I play like fucking 4 games a day. What the hell? You know what I mean? It's like, no, that's because you get sent loads of games, you idiot, and all the rest of that stuff. But like, yeah, people do just play one game. You know, people play COD, people play FIFA, people play WoW, people play League of Legends, and that's all they ever play. They don't play anything else. You know, more power to them. But like, I think Call of Duty is in a situation where it cannot just make the same game. Which, I mean, honestly, Black Ops 2, that was pushing the boat a bit. Well, you know, taking the piss, because it was the same as Black Ops, really. You know, it just had a few different mechanics, which were like not much really. You know, I think it had the drone thing and stuff like that. Great. You know, what else does it have?
Yeah.
Slightly different maps, different weapons, kind of different skins. Not much. Ghosts comes out. What did that have? Kind of the same thing. And it's like, hang on a minute. They cannot do that a third time. So what I'm really hoping is this game just has new mechanics in. So bigger maps, like Titanfall size maps, okay? Vehicles, bloody this parkour stuff, the run up walls, the super jump, the bloody whatever, you know, and stuff like that, because then that suddenly makes it a bit different. Like, I don't even care. I mean, let's face it, the game's going to stay the same, like, kind of technically as it is, you know, like things with the way it shoots, the way you play as a shooter. So it's going to have no recoil. It's going to have whatever. But Titanfall's the same. And to be quite honest, I was kind of okay with that because I was like a god. And in fact, the other day we played Titanfall, me and Kiri did, and he was laughing to me. He said to me, let's have a game of Titanfall. And I'm like, okay. I said, but I ain't played it for ages. He says, it doesn't matter. You'll probably come top. And I'm like, I won't. But I did. With like quite a commanding score as well. I think, what was it? It was like 19-3 or something that killed F.
It was something ridiculous. There's a Generation 9 guy on the other team and he got half your score. That's all we really need to know.
I know, because I was really shit talking him as well. Wasn't I? Calling him a scrub. So bad. But like, yeah, if it, I don't know. I mean, hell, maybe this is a kind of like a veiled jab at Respawn because it's called Advanced Warfare.
Well, this is the other thing as well. It's like
they make Modern Warfare.
They did Modern Warfare, yeah. Respawn did Modern Warfare. They've left and done Titanfall, and now
which people did say about Titanfall, kind of, that's the way they expected Call of Duty to go. You know, Titanfall came out, so.
And now Sledgehammer's turned up with Advanced Warfare, with mech suits, possibility of wall running, being able to jump really high. The feel of it is very similar. Let's be honest. I mean, the aesthetic's a bit different, but the feel of it is quite similar. And I have to say, one thing I did like about the trailer is that when Kevin Spacey talks about democracy, admittedly, all I hear is Frank Underwood, but on the other hand,
who he is.
It made the plot look a little bit different to the standard Modern Warfare stuff, because it was really like taking the piss out of their own plots, basically. Because let's face it, the plot for Modern Warfare generally, the plot for Call of Duty generally is, we are America, have some democracy, you foreign pig dog, and that's like the entire thing. Yeah. And it's, you know, hunt down the Russian terrorists.
Well, without sounding racist, it's kill the brown guy with a bomb on his chest and shoot the crazy Russian who's trying to invade us. That's all it is.
Pretty much.
And that's bad.
Yeah.
Like, because that's sort of like, I don't like that. That's a really shit storyline. That they could do so much more with it. And this looks a
Yeah.
little bit different because I think the whole idea is you've got Frank Underwood with his private military company who wants to sort the government out in America because he's sick of them invading other countries, trying to give them democracy because they don't want democracy. So instead, he's just going to fucking take over the government with. So at least he's killing Americans. That sounds ridiculous, but whatever. You know, it's better than we're going to Well, we're not. They never call it Afghanistan today. It's like we're going to. Some Arab Kazakhstan, and
Kazakhstan.
We're gonna democratify them with A bombs because they're a threat to us. Oh my god! Anyway, you were saying, son.
What was that? Yeah, that was it. But that plot looks like considerably better. I mean, people have. I've seen comments about, oh yeah, well, in the last few Call of Duty games, you know, the main characters have been wanted by the US government. And it's like, yeah, but they still end up saving the United States by going into space and blowing up, you know, all the absolute nonsense.
I forgot about that bit in Ghosts in the fucking space station. Oh my god!
And this just looks like it. I don't know. To be honest, it just looks like there's more effort being put into it. I know that's a lot to take away from like a 2-minute trailer, but let's be perfectly honest, Call of Duty has looked exactly the same for the last 7 years. Yeah. The gameplay has been exactly the same for the last 7 years. The plots have got like more and more stupid, but they've still basically been exactly the same for the last 7 years. It is always, this foreigner's trying to take over the United States, and that's like the entire thing. And this, like, you've got all these little things, these little improvements, like, you know, the mech suits and the guns and the hoverbikes, and it all just adds up to make it look a little bit less like Call of Duty and more like a game franchise that I would actually be interested in. Because Call of Duty is old. It's just old. The concept's old. The way the game works is old. And this doesn't look old. It looks like they're actually trying to do something with it, as opposed to sit back and
I think they have to.
Yeah, well, the last one sold well, so it's fine. But
how well did Titanfall do? I mean, Titanfall did well. Obviously not Call of Duty levels of well, but that's changing things up a bit. And, like, I mean, I guess you could even bring Battlefield 4 into this mess. I mean, Battlefield 4 is fucking terrible. Like, that is a really poor game. Like, that should be a lot better than it is. I mean, it's got such an amazing graphics engine. But it's just such a terrible experience. Like, it's okay. You know, you can have fun playing it, but after you play it for a while, you start to feel like you're getting robbed pretty much on a constant basis. Like, I've died there, I should not have died. You know, and it gets really annoying. There's all the problems with battle log, all the other problems, and it's just
so many issues with netcode and stuff. It's like it's on just paper, not a good game.
On paper, that should be the best FPS game, but it's not. Call of Duty has got the biggest audience. Titanfall's come out, and Titanfall has been the most fun I've had in an FPS game since like Counter-Strike, and that's saying something. But Titanfall is kind of like, how much do I play Titanfall now? Not very much, because there just isn't that much to do in Titanfall. It's like, I've unlocked most of the weapons. You know, I don't, you know, it's like, what the hell am I supposed to do? Like, after you've played the same round over and over again, there's not really much to do. Hopefully, this says, look, we're going to give you all of that stuff. We're going to give you vehicles. We're going to give you all this fancy shit. And there's going to be loads of customization, because that's what COD's really good at. All right, guys, we'll go on, Mr. Kir Off.
Well, I was just going to say, the worry that I've got is that,
I've
said before, all of these things that are turning up in the trailer and in the screenshots are the set pieces. The thing that concerns me, and I never thought I'd say this about a Call of Duty game, but the thing that concerns me is that the trailer looks good, and I would like to play that game, but I don't want that game to just be 2 hours of campaign. I want that game to be the multiplayer for that game as well. Yeah. But we know from previous experience that is not how it works.
Me and you are an audience. We're an audience, Mr. Kir Off. If they could tap into us by giving us what we want, then we would play the game multiplayer, because we don't.
Yeah.
You know, me playing the game single player is not what they want. They want me playing it multiplayer to buy all their fucking stupid map packs and all that shit. I'm not going to do that.
And that's what,
you know, if
and
it's
that's
the
what
same
drives
shit,
people in to get the next game as well. If you've got hours and hours and hours invested in Black Ops 2, when Ghost comes out, your mates are going to be playing Ghost. So you're going to be like, oh, well, I better play Ghost with my mates. For us, there's no entry. There's no entryway into the Call of Duty franchise for me anymore.
No.
Because I've got no interest in playing the same multiplayer I played 7 years ago, and no one can really tell me that it's any different. Whereas this, if there are things from not from Titanfall, but if there is similar mechanics, if there's things like wall running, if you can do super high jumps, if it's like playing Titanfall, but with more customization, more maps, more game modes, and I just the ability to just more longevity in general, then I would buy that. But I really do worry that actually it's not going to be like that. Like I want it to be like that. I'd love it if it was like that, but I don't know. I think we need. It's going to be interesting as more information comes out about this new Call of Duty. It's going to be interesting to see how much of what will be set pieces in the campaign translated to multiplayer, because I think that for me will dictate whether or not I remain interested. Because at the moment I'm really interested,
Which is
but
strange, yeah. Which is strange. For a
which
thing,
is
yeah.
weird for a Call of Duty game. When
I mean,
Ghost came out, I was just like, haha, a dog, and that was the entire. That was my entire reaction. That was the whole thing. But this is like, I want to see more of this, but I want to see more in the right place. I don't just want more campaign set pieces. I want to see them do something different with the multiplayer, or at least try and evolve the multiplayer a little bit and add in new mechanics, because it's just old. I don't need to play the game I played 7 years ago. I want to play something new, and they've
All
got
right.
the resources to do
So,
that.
well, they have. God knows they've got the resources. The question is, ladies and gentlemen, do you give a shit about Call of COD Advanced Warfare? Call of COD. That sounds amazing. Let me start that again. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Do you give a shit, right? What do you think? Do you think this could be an evolution of the series? Is it going to be the same old shit? Or the main crazy bits we see in the trailer, are they just set pieces that we're going to see for 5 minutes in the game and then never see again? What do you think? Is there any hope for Call of Duty? Let us know in the comments below, because we love reading the comments in HOTFIX, like we always say. Also, the new crazy layout, that kind of went okay. I know there was a couple of hiccups, like when I changed the scene over. You may have seen a bit of the notepad file that we use for HOTFIX, and you may have seen tabs and shit. But whatever, we'll iron that out as we go on, because I think this is kind of a decent way of doing it, because we can show things off and not get destroyed with copyright. So, I've been Silosa. You can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming, and that's some other guy who can advertise himself.
I'm Kir Off. You can follow me at Kir Off.
He's
Easy.
also got nearly 1,000 followers, I think. So you better follow him, because we'll take him over.
Oh yeah,
that.
push me over.
Push him
me
over.
the edge,
Oh baby,
so to speak.
into the abyss.
Oh.
So yeah, we're out of here, ladies and gentlemen. This has been a bit of a hotfix on Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, and we'll catch you next time. Toodaloo.